sports, I always want to know, how did your love for sports begin?
That is a fantastic question.
Thank you.
I'm not sure how I can pinpoint when the bug bit me, but
Mhm.
I always talk about in our house growing up, there was always a black and white picture of my mom's basketball team. And so I grew up knowing that she started as a freshman. She was also part of integrating a predominantly white school. And
Mhm.
so she would tell me about some of the struggles that were involved with that. And so I think that always I kind of wanted to make her proud. And I always felt like the bar, she never said that, but I always felt
Mhm.
like the bar was going to be starting as a freshman and doing those other things. Although I played softball in high school as well, basketball was my first love. And ironically, one of those things when you looked at that something for so long, I did
Mhm.
start as a freshman. And one of
Okay.
the my most favorite years of all in sports was that freshman year when I was allowed to play on the junior high team and the high school team. I grew up in a small Class B school, and so absolutely loved that year where I was playing basketball 5 to 6 days a week.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, and like you said, you just wanted to make her proud, even though she never said it, but you was trying to
Right.
follow her footsteps, and that's pretty cool. So as I mentioned earlier, you're a Hall of Famer from your alma mater, with such honors as Player of the Week, OIC Scholar Athlete, OIC and District 9 All Conference teams, and Northwestern Ranger Queen. What amazing accomplishments. How, with basketball classes, possibly campaigning for Ranger Queen, how were you able to juggle all this and keep your GPA up?
Well, it's one of those things that I absolutely loved college, and some of my friends from the Baptist Student Union, they were my sponsoring group for Ranger Queen.
Okay.
They talked me
Mhm.
into it, and ironically, it's the first time that I learned that saw other people can see some things in yourself that you may not see at the time. I
Right.
never ever considered myself Queen material at all, and I wouldn't have had the nerve to do it had some of my friends were like, "Hey, we'll help you with the posters. We'll help you, we'll back you. You can do this. Everybody knows you," but they didn't know me in that realm. And so I don't know. That was a very eye-opening and life-changing time for me as well.
Yeah.
So to be voted in by my peers at a PWI meant a whole lot to me.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I
So
always saw myself just as a jock, an athlete, a scholar. I did see those things as me, but a queen, I never saw
well, you're a queen, sister.
that.
That's for sure. You are amazing. Just researching and reading your bio, I was like, wow, she is amazing, and that's why I'm so excited that you're our very first guest. Um, Eddie Rogers, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame in Langston in 1998. I believe 9 years after you graduated, or 8 or 9 years. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. How was that moment for you to be honored in that way?
No one really prepares you. It's like when you're excited about it, and I was honored. My family was there to see me inducted, but I was
Mhm.
not prepared for the rush of memories as you're getting ready to thank
Mhm.
those that have played a part in your induction. I just saw the hours and hours outside playing on a grass court, the excitement when my dad built my first goal. And it was big
Yeah.
because he actually had a welder. I had the metal pole, the everything, still had a
Wow.
grass court. But I mean, I looked at all the hours that were spent in the backyard and that had brought me to that point. The sacrifices that my mom and dad had made. We weren't rich by any means. My mom was a school teacher, and all of that was full circle, and I just felt grateful to God that he allowed me to experience that moment.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, Eddie Rogers, you served 4 years as an athletic director for women's sports and was selected as AD of the Year for Region 6 in 2003. Now, I never knew there could be separate ADs for women and men's sports. Could you elaborate on that for me? I mean, why was it just for women's sport?
So it's
Hello and welcome to Knox Wyndham Gymnasium on the campus of Miles College. We've got SIAC basketball tonight. Coming up, we've got the Miles College Lady Golden Bears taking on the Lady Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State. Good evening, everyone, and we first of all like to say happy Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Day to you and yours. We have a special treat for you this evening. Mo Carter and Nick Finch on the broadcast this evening. And Nick, as we come into this game right here, we've got two teams that have kind of been going in different directions, but are still on pace to try to make a run for an SIAC regular season title.
Absolutely. It's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And as we get this January slate of games started, both teams still have a chance to make an impact and have a really decent finish in conference. And then you look at some key players for Kentucky State, like Helani Cantone averaging 12 points per game, 5.1 rebounds. Grayson Kerr, 11.3 points per game, 3.4 assists. Laurie Thomas, 8.8 points per game, but 7.2 rebounds. Key players here for Kentucky State.
All right, so just taking a look at some things. Miles' last game, they had a victory against Lemoyne Owen, 84-72. Imaya Harris, 15 points, 2 steals, 2 assists. We always expect that from, by far, one of the smallest players on the court, which has the biggest game on the court as well.
Absolutely. You know, normally I don't notice. It's kind of got like really quiet after the starting lineup in here, and I was like, wow, you're really loud. But this is really exciting. This is our first time here in a month, and I'm really excited to see what these players can do. I'm really excited to see Greer again because, like you said, she is one of the smallest on the court, but by far one of the most thrilling to watch.
Absolutely, and you know, you're definitely right about that whole thing when it comes to just getting so quiet because it seems like everybody's just so focused on the game. But we're getting ready to tip off, and there is the tip-off. The tip-off is won by the Miles College Lady Golden Bears. Bringing the ball up court is number 1, Imaya Harris. Harris working it inside real quick, going to Daria Ashley. Her shot's off the mark, but the ball goes out of bounds. Kentucky State will take over after the first possession.
So you see really quickly Miles wants to pound it inside and establish the paint before Kentucky State can get anything going.
And here's Miles putting a little half-court pressure. Kentucky State does combat it, though. Here on the hook shot right there, that is Janiyah Thompson. Her shot's off the mark, but she gets the rebound. They'll kick it back out over to number 1, Helani Cantone, and she will be running the offense. She'll swing it over to Janiyah Thompson in the corner. Swing it back over to Talia Dilworth, who will get it over to number 32. That's Laurie Thomas. Her shot's off the mark. Rebound goes to Miles, and here comes the Lady Golden Bears.
One thing we're looking to see that's going to be really good, Amaya Harris versus Cantone, 2 of the best players in the conference.
Nariah Slade swings it around to Imani Williams. Williams back over to Harris. Three-pointer attempt was thought about for Leah Greer. Instead, she'll drive to the bucket and scores.
Leah Greer using a little patience to work her way inside to get that bucket to go. She had 12 points last game, trying to continue what she started just a few days ago.
Here's Miles putting a little bit more pressure as Kentucky State does get it across half court. Thoroughbreds trying to get something going now into the hands of Talia Dilworth. Dilworth will drive to the basket, off the glass, and off the mark. So here comes Imani Williams, and she'll be called for steps.
Yeah, that one looked awkward. Ball just got away from her a little bit, and I thought it was either going to be steps or double dribble. Either way, she had to get called with something. It looked too awkward to just let it go.
All right, here comes that half-court trap once again from Miles, but Kentucky State combats it. Getting into the hands of Grayson Kerr now. Kerr being double-teamed will eventually get it over to Thomas. Here's a pull-up 3 in the corner by Helani Cantone, and she knocks that bad boy down. Kentucky State now on top, 3-2.
I was going to say one thing a player like Grayson Kerr does, it allows Cantone not to have to be on ball all the time. As you saw right there, Kerr found Cantone in the corner for the 3 to give Kentucky State the lead.
Hey, remember how we talked about how it just got so quiet before the tip-off?
Yeah.
It's kind of the opposite now.
Absolutely. That's why you shouldn't complain. Yeah, we ought to know better by now.
Absolutely. Amaya Harris's three is off the mark, but there's a loose ball foul on the floor. Tadaria Ashley was pushed out of the air. Kentucky State is called for the foul, and that is number 24, Jasmine Elder, 6'1" junior from out of Wayne, Michigan, by way of Highland Community College. So here's Miles taking the ball out under the basket. Greer tries to get it in. We got a kickball.
That's good work. Kickball has a little bit of hustle that goes really unnoticed or uncredited, but it's necessary.
Ball goes over to Imani Williams. She has it knocked out of her hands by Lori Thomas. Ball will remain with Miles. So we got two plays under the basket when it comes to inbounds, but no time has went off the shot clock yet.
Right, and they've been so quick, it's been hard to really get the clock to get going.
All right, so here we go. Nariah Slayton will get it over to Daria Ashley. Ashley tries the Euro step, but she is called for the travel.
Not sure if I agree with the call that time. Obviously, Miles-based broadcast, so I'm going to be a little biased, but I didn't feel about it.
All right, so here's Kentucky State moving from left to right on your television screen. They will swing it over in the corner to Kerr, and Kerr will be called for travel. So it's like the fourth travel call we've seen between these two teams in the first 3 minutes of the game.
I'll say it like this. I didn't agree with the one down here. I didn't necessarily agree with that one. She got tied up a little bit. If anything, I'd call it a jump ball before I called it travel.
Here's Philea Greer trying to bring the ball across court. Amaya Harris now with the rock. Listening to head coach Pete Asman. Imani Williams now with the ball. Tries to go inside, and there's a kickball.
Again, I talked about it. That little kickball seems like it's not important, but I'm telling you, it just kills some offensive sets sometimes. So kickball is always good defense in my eyes.
Absolutely. So Philea Greer taking the ball out underneath the basket. She'll get it over to Imani Harris. She'll pull up for three, and it's good for Amaya Harris.
A little space is too much space for Harris, and she got that one to go.
And if you've joined us on these Miles broadcasts in the past, we know for sure if she gets going early, it could be bad news for the other team.
Oh, man, no kidding. If Harris is going, you just have to hope and pray she misses on her own, because you're not going to make her miss.
All right, and there's Harris coming up with the steal. She'll take it almost all the way. Goes baseline, off the glass, shot missed. But Harris comes up with all rebound. Ball tipped out of bounds and will remain with the Lady Golden Bears.
And that little rim out is exactly what I meant. There's no way, it seems like in physics, that should have come out of the goal. But it just so happened to take the right bounce and get out of the way. And that's what I mean. Only thing that can stop Harris sometimes is herself.
Philea Greer, the inbounder. She'll get over to Amaya Harris. In the corner now. Back to Harris. Nariah Slayton had the ball. Gets it back to Harris. Back over to Slayton. Inside to Imani Williams, and the ball is stolen away by Kentucky State. Kentucky State now with numbers. Taking it to the rack is Talia Dilworth. And Dilworth will score off the glass. She ties the ball game up. It's 5-5 with 5:55 to go in this first quarter.
A rare fives or wild type situation.
Here's Harris trying to beat the double team, and she does. Harris being guarded closely by number 3, Talia Dilworth. Harris goes behind the back. She'll kick it over to Greer in the corner. Greer dribbling between her legs, loses for a second. Back to Greer, up off the glass, and it's good for Greer.
Just like they drew it up.
Absolutely. That's schoolyard ball right there, man.
Right.
On the other end, here's a long pass that goes over the hands of Grayson Kerr. Out of bounds, ball goes back over to Miles. Checking into the game now for Miles is number 3, Unique McKinney, and number 5, Madison Lee. They'll give Imani Williams and Philea Greer a little breather. And we talked about the noise in the gym. A key component to that noise is the wonderful cheerleading squad for Miles. They're decked out in both gold and purple this evening, and you can see them right behind for a second of Harris. So you'll be hearing them all night. Here's Harris for another three. Rims out. Rebound, though, right there by Tadaria Ashley. Her putback is off the mark, so Kentucky State takes over and takes it down the court.
I'm going to tell you something as we get this shot put up.
Missed shot by Kentucky State. Here's Harris, tries to throw it up court. It'll be picked off by number one, Helena Cantone. Cantone taking it to the rack, goes off glass, and she scores.
Cantone wanted the and one, pointed to the ref. Again, that's a good way to get yourself a tech here today.
Absolutely. Cantone, a transfer from out of Arkansas State. We got a 7-7 ball game approaching the 4-minute mark to go in the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium on the campus of Miles College. Here's Slayton coming off the screen. She'll get it over to Harris. Harris being guarded by Cantone. They go inside. Actually, they'll swing it back out now. Miles with 1 second to go on the shot clock and missed shot right there. And look, we've got
media.
We got a media timeout, so let's take it with them. With 3:50 to go, we got a tie ball game. It's 7-7 between Miles and Kentucky State. You're watching HBCU basketball and HBCU League Pass Plus.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And welcome back to Fairfield, Alabama on the campus of Miles College. We're inside the Knox Wyndham Gymnasium for tonight's battle between the Miles Lady Golden Bears and the Lady Thoroughbreds of Kentucky State. Mo Carter and Nick Finch on the broadcast this evening. I want to thank you for joining us here on the Dr. King holiday. We'll talk about the life and legacy of the late, great Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. a little later on in our broadcast. Right now, let's get back to the action right now. Running the offense for Kentucky State. It's Dilworth. She'll get it over to Cantone. Try to throw it inside, and there's a steal by Miles.
Good work by Miles, keeping up your defensive intensity here as we get late into this first quarter.
Daricia Randall coming up with the steal. Now Randall gets the ball inside. She will kick it out to Madison Lee. Her shot's off the mark, and there's a scramble for the rebound, and we've got a loose ball foul. It looks like the ball will be heading over to Kentucky State. Nariah Slayton will be called for the foul. Falia Greer will be checking back in.
Looked like we had a little disagreement. Like a player, I can tell you what happened. Lori Thomas didn't appreciate being stepped over by Desiree Randall, but I don't think she meant any ill intention in the step over. Just a matter of like, I got to figure out a way to not trip over you.
Absolutely, and here's a steal right there as the ball was overthrown. Daricia Randall comes up with the steal. Here's Harris, Euro step, goes up and over a defender, technically misses the shot, but we've got a foul on the floor. Elana Cantone called for the foul on the play. So heading to the free throw line will be Daricia Randall. On the year, Daricia Randall. Let's pull up these lovely stats. She's about a 47% free throw shooter. Now, she has not been to the free throw line too many times. Misses the first free throw. Here's the second one, and she is money.
Randall kind of used the her mind force to push that one in and get it to go. She followed that one the entire way.
All right, here's Miles putting the pressure on, but Kentucky State is able to get things going. Grayson Kerr will swing it over, well, actually back to Kerr, and Kerr pulls up and hits the bucket.
That was a smooth move for that quick pull-up mid-range jumper to give KSU the lead back.
And KSU on top, 9-8, 2:20 to go in the first quarter. Here's Amaya Harris. Harris going inside to Randall. Randall throws it across court to Madison Lee. Falia Greer tries to save it, but the ball goes out of bounds and back over to Kentucky State.
Yeah, a photographer kind of got in her way there. She was trying to save it. Next thing you know, she's hugging somebody.
Right. I mean, that baseline, there's not that much space. Coming out of the game right now is Grayson Kerr. And checking into the game for Kentucky State is Naja Fenelon. Here's a little half-court pressure from Miles, but Kentucky State is able to break it. They'll get into the hands of Canton. Going inside Kentucky State, the turnaround jumper off the mark. Rebound goes to Unique McKinney.
Lauren Powell's got to show a little bit more patience in there.
Here's Harris. She'll get it to McKinney. Over to Greer. Greer goes behind her back. Picks up a dribble, though, but gets it to Harris. Harris will pull up for three. Shot off the mark, but she draws the foul, so she's heading to free throw for 3 shots from the charity stripe.
Absolutely. Fenelon, I should say, has to give Greer room to land from that three-pointer. Now, Greer took a three-pointer earlier, and I wanted to make this, Harris. Harris took a three-pointer earlier and missed it, but I wanted to make this point. Unless you're standing on the basketball court, you don't realize how far that three-point line really is and how difficult of a shot that really is. And Harris just takes it regularly. And keep in mind, she's listed at 5'5". She's not 5'5". And just the amount of effort and leg strength that you have to have just to even get the ball to the hoop, much less make it with consistency. It's just something that I really marvel at her ability to do.
A 71% free throw shooter from the line. She's already knocked down the first 2, and she goes 3 for 3. And now she'll head out the game to get a breather. Kelly Finkley will check in for Harris. Harris getting her first breather of the evening.
Look at this zone. First zone look from Miles. They've been running it.
There's a block shot. And looks like we've got a whistle on the floor. Also wanted to mention Maya Harris. So far, she has 6 points to lead all scorers this evening. On the other side, Canton, she leads all scorers for Kentucky State with 5. And officials over here trying to figure out something and accessing the folks here at the scorers table. All right, just want to make sure we got it all right.
Gave them 1 second into possession. Watch it make a difference. Or maybe not.
As for Leah Greer, she almost gets the steal. And there's a timeout by head coach Terrence Slay of Kentucky State. So let's go ahead and take it with them with 1:11 to go. 11-9 is your score. Miles is on top. We'll be right back on BCSN.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up.
The redesigned Chevy Silverado. With a sophisticated high-tech interior,
Open the door.
it's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck. It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, people trying to get down.
And we're back here in Fairfield, Alabama. We're now under the 1 minute mark on the play. Kentucky State was not able to convert following the timeout. Miles College was able to take it down the floor. However, they missed the shot, but heading to the free throw line is Kelly Finkley. She was fouled on that shot. And first free throw coming up for Finkley. It's up and it is good. Taking a look at the free throw percentage of the year for Finkley, she is a 72% free throw shooter, so should be money at the line for her coming up. Here's second free throw attempt. Hits the back iron, off the mark, rebound goes over to Kentucky State.
Kentucky State needs, go ahead. I was just saying Kentucky State needs a strong possession here to end the quarter. Don't need to rush. They could have gone 2 for 1, but I say don't rush. Get a good shot here.
Naja Fennerline trying to dribble between defenders. And she throws the ball away into the hands of Aaliyah Greer. Greer on the fast break, goes off her leg though. And we've got a jump ball on the floor. Aaliyah Greer literally was in perfect position to get a great layup, but then she just dribbled the ball off her leg.
Let's go all the way back to the possession on the other side. Lauren Powell, I said it the first time she got the ball in the paint, she has to slow down. She's big. Let folks react to you. You have 3 seconds to work down there. Use all 3 of them.
Victoria Vincent checked into the game. And I was getting ready to say, Miles was lining up like they were getting ready to have the ball, but I forgot. It was a jump ball possession, so the jump ball possession went over to Kentucky State. Here's Fennerline. She will pull up for a deep 3, hits the front iron off the mark. Rebound goes to Greer. Greer throws it up to McKinney. McKinney will pull up on the baseline and hits. 14-9 is your score. 10 seconds to go. Get into the hands of Kerr. Kerr will get a shot off. She pulls up, hits the back on. Rebound goes over to Randall, and that's how we will end our first quarter. So at the end of the first quarter, it is the Lady Golden Bears leading the Lady Thoroughbreds 14-9. You're watching HBCU basketball on HBCU League Pass Plus.
At HBCUs, there's no limit to who we can be. Black and inspired and thriving. Black and magnetic and sing. From the classrooms to the quad, our passion is our purpose. We are leaders and legacy. So when you look at what we accomplish next, you'll know where it started. For who you are and who you want to be, we're here.
I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire. I'm a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire.
Crypto is complicated, but as a tax expert with crypto experience, you can hand your taxes off to me. You do your thing, we've got your taxes. Intuit, TurboTax Live.
Pizza Hut stuffed crust is the crust that made crust good. Topped and stuffed with over a half-pound of cheese. What are you so afraid of? Loving it? Original stuffed crust, just $12.99. Only from Pizza Hut. No one out Pizza the Hut.
It's like a loot machine.
SIAC basketball continues here inside of the Knox Witham Gymnasium as the Lady Golden Bears of Miles take on Kentucky State. Welcome back to second quarter action. Mo Carter and Nick Finch on the call. Miles, they're on top 14-9. They will take it out to begin the second quarter. Here's Amaya Harris being guarded closely by Fennerline. Harris goes behind the back, throws it inside to Imani Williams. Williams with a hook shot, and it's good. 16-9 is now your score. And here goes that little full court press once again, Nick.
I was going to say, going into the end of that first quarter, there were 2 good looks on shots from KSU, just unfortunate misses.
And Fenelon is trapped. Somehow she gets it away, and then wide open under the goal is number 25, Victoria Vincent. She scores, making it 16-11. She definitely caught that Miles Golden Tiger defense sleeping on that one. And we got a jump ball situation.
I was going to say, that's a matter of once you saw the lady trapped, everybody went to her, but it left the back line wide open. One thing I've noticed for K-State, look at this. Look at these fours. 6'5", 6'3", 6'3". We have a really tall lineup. You'd wonder if K-State would be able to take advantage of that as this game goes along.
Yeah, we definitely will see how that goes. I mean, right now on the floor, they've got Victoria Vincent, who's listed at 6'5". They also have, well, let's take a look right here with this three-pointer, and it is good by Grayson Kerr, young lady from Connecticut. And there's a steal by Kerr. Kerr will pull up, misses the shot right there. Rebound goes into the hands of Amaya Harris. And there's a foul on the floor. Looks like Fenelon will come up with the foul.
Just like Kentucky State is going to say, you're going to give us some pressure full court. Guess what? We'll do the same thing.
To each is his own, right?
All right. And we say that K-State, the players on the court wanted to press. Coach is like, let's just get back and play man.
So here's Amira Harris. Will kick it all the way out, and check out that block right there by Kentucky State. Nariah Slayton thought she had a straightaway three, but that was not the case.
Yeah, Talia Dilworth earned the right to kind of flex a little bit off that one because that was a fantastic block.
Coming out the game right now is number 15, Nina Blade. Checking in is number 32, Lori Thomas for her. Here's Ashley taking it to the rack. And we've got a charge. Ball going back over to Kentucky State.
To me, it seemed that she was in the restricted zone. So I'm not sure if I agree with that call.
So Kentucky State takes over following the charge. And they're trying to push it up court, and there'll be a foul on the floor. Maya Harris is trying to say that the Kentucky State player traveled, but they're saying that she drawed contact before any of that happened. .7:59 to go in the second quarter. Miles hanging on to a 2-point lead. 16-14 is your score here inside the Knox Windham Gymnasium. Mo Carter and Nick Finch on your broadcast this evening. We want to thank you for joining us on the King holiday.
I think they're going to run the 76 play.
I think so. We hear head coach Terrence Slater yelling 76. Here's a three-point attempt. Well off the mark by Helena Cantone. But there's a steal. However, Miles does get the ball back and then knocks it out of bounds. Miles will keep possession. Maya Harris will bring the ball up court. Harris already on the roll. She leads all scorers this evening with 6 points. And there's a turnover, so the ball will go back over to the Thoroughbreds.
And sometimes you just want to see a team slow the pace down a little bit. Like, the breakneck speed is exciting to a degree, but one thing it does is it doesn't allow you to manipulate the defense. Because if you're just going, all they have to do is defend that moment. They don't have to think about what's going on the backside.
All right, so here we go. Kentucky State with easy look at the basket. However, that was off the mark on the other end. And Monty Williams, the pump fake, her easy shot is off the mark. 2 opportunities for easy shots, and both of them are off the mark. Here's a steal now by the Miles Lady Golden Bears, and it is good as Tadaria Ashley will score. Sloppy play at first, but eventually it rolls into a 2-point bucket for the Lady Golden Bears. And here's a block right there by the Lady Golden Bears by way of Slayton. Amaya Harris will fall on the floor, however, tie up ball, and we've got possession that will remain probably with Miles.
I tell you what, I like the fact that Kentucky State, the bigs are immediately trapping after each rebound, defensive rebound from Miles.
So here's Amani Williams with the rock. She'll get it back over to Harris. Harris goes inside to Daria Ashley. Ashley, the turnaround jumper off the mark. And here's a steal by Myra Harris. She's got numbers up in front of her, and Daria Ashley will finish at the rim with that bucket. 20-14 is your score. 6 minutes to go in the half.
Symptom of playing too fast. Just relax. Work the ball around.
Here's Alana Cantone. Almost has the ball stolen as she got it over to Grayson Kerr. Back over to Cantone. Cantone pulls up for the jumper off the mark. Gets her own rebound, but loses the ball, and there's a loose ball foul on the floor as Unique McKinney hits the deck.
Jasmine Elder going to get charged with the foul there.
Jasmine Elder, 6'1" forward from out of Wayne, Michigan. Checking back into the game right now, Desiree Rando.
So with Randall back in, I'd like to see Miles working in, but Randall herself has to be patient in there. Again, I can't stress enough that sometimes slowing down is just as good and getting the defense to overreact.
Here's a pull-up by McKinney. She's fouled, so she'll head to the free throw line.
Hey, that works too, you know. McKinney can draw the foul on the jump shot and head to the line and try to get some easy ones.
Unique McKinney is a 60% free throw shooter on the year. Checking back into the game now for Kentucky State is number 25, Victoria Vincent. They list her at 6'5", and she's a freshman from out of Ontario, Canada. Man, we talk about this all the time. When it comes to recruiting, especially on the HBCU basis, if you're good, coaches will find a way to not only recruit you, but bring you to their campus.
Yeah, everywhere is a pipeline when you're looking everywhere, you know. I don't think there's not many players on this team, just looking at the roster, that come from the same state.
And that is the state of Kentucky. All right, so we got some made free throws right there by Unique McKinney. And McKinney will take a breather into the game now. Number 5, Madison Lee, 6'1" freshman from out of Statesboro, Georgia. Kentucky State does get it up court to number 3. And, man, what a shot by Talia Dilworth. She stretched the defense, got in between the defense, and then scored.
Yeah, and she absorbed the contact. Could have been a foul called on Miles. The ref didn't blow the whistle, and she just went through to get the bucket.
On the baseline, and Maya Harris loses the rock, but looks like she drew a foul before she hit the deck. All right, so it looks like Talia Dilworth will be called for the foul on that one. Approaching the 5-minute mark to go. Miles on top by 5. On the inbounds, here's Falia Greer. She'll get it over to Randall. Randall looking for Harris, and she does. Harris, the crossover, the pull-up, good from three-point range.
Ooh, that move was smooth right there from Harris.
On the other end, can Kentucky State respond? Ball gets knocked out of bounds by Falia Greer.
A media there.
And look, we've got a media timeout, so let's take it with them. 24-16 is your score. You're watching SIAC Hoops on HBCU League Pass Plus.
It's never too early to plant the seed, to share the tradition, and instill a sense of pride in your HBCU with your little ones. HBCU Pride and Joy Children's Boutique helps you share your school spirit with a wide selection of adorable kids apparel and accessories officially licensed from your favorite HBCU. Visit hbcupridejoy.com and follow us on all social media at HBCU Pride Joy on Facebook and Twitter.
Oh, that spin class was brutal. Well, you can try using the Buick's massaging seat. Ooh, yeah, that's nice.
Can I use Apple CarPlay to put some music on?
Sure, it's wireless.
Pick something we all like. Okay, hold on.
What
The all-new Buick Envision, an SUV built around you. All of you.
It's like a loop machine.
And we're back here inside the Knox Windham Gymnasium on the campus of Miles College. Lady Golden Bears leading the Thoroughbreds 24-16. Mo Carter, Nick Finch on the broadcast this evening. We want to thank you for joining us here on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And Nick, as we look around the gymnasium, man, this is probably one of the better crowds we've seen all season for a home game with Miles.
Yeah, as you know, when we first got up here in December, finals were going on, school was closing up. Now we have classes started back. That should be at this point. And we're going to have more folks here to fill this gym up, make an exciting atmosphere for both these teams.
Agreed. And actually sitting behind us are a handful of Kentucky State parents as well, because every time they've got the ball, you're hearing them cheer them on. I mean, Kentucky State's not the closest drive, but, you know, it was close enough for them to make their way over here. And there's a steal by Falia Greer. Greer will get it over to Amaya Harris.
You always like a set of dedicated parents, but thankfully they have their players from Georgia, Tennessee, and Alabama on this team, so it wasn't that far of a drive.
Falia Greer trying to put him through the spin cycle, but a shot was blocked on the play. Kentucky State trying to capitalize now. Here's Kentone. She will swing it out over to number 22, Sydney Thomas, who connects from three-point range.
We're talking about fans traveling. Thomas is from Kennesaw, Georgia. Then you have Laurie Thomas. Wonder if there's any relation there from Athens, Georgia.
That's a good possibility. If they are related, the Thomas family is definitely well represented on this roster. If not, they could be play cousins.
Play cousins. And then, looking at the roster, Lauren Powell was at Auburn Montgomery. She's from Bessemer. So
right here.
Yeah.
All right, so on the play, we had a foul on Talia Dilworth. She picks up her second foul, and she'll actually be heading over to the bench. Checking into the game for Dilworth will be number 5, Naja Fenelon. So heading to the free throw line now is Amaya Harris. Amaya Harris, last time we saw her at the free throw line, she got fouled from a three-point range and knocked down not one, not two, but all 3 free throws.
And that's what a team leader does. You know what your situation is. You got to have those free throws. You're in a battle. Make sure every single one of those points counts, getting it done to get the team the lead.
Mm-hmm. And shout out to Madison Lee for running out and getting the dry mop real quick to mop up a wet spot.
We got to get some more student athletes from other sports to come help them out.
Yeah, that would be definitely a good idea. First free throw attempt is good by Harris.
That's how we've done it at other schools. You have your off-season student athletes to come help out the current student athletes in season, and vice versa.
Harris goes 2 for 2 on her trip to the free throw line. Miles bringing in 3 subs, which include Imani Williams, also Unique McKinney, and seeing her action for the first time, Aliyah Postman. Here's that half-court press once again. We might as well just go ahead and just get used to Miles doing it, because they've done it on every single possession that Kentucky State has done tonight. Here's Kentucky State with the drive, shot off the mark. Rebound goes to Kentucky State, but the young lady's foot was on the out-of-bounds line. Ball will go over to Miles.
Kalani Cantone just so happened to be standing right where she can catch the ball. Problem is, like you said, she was standing out of bounds. A possession to go to Miles College.
All right, here's Falia Greer getting over to Postma.
Postma's sporting a new hair color.
And she is. Looking a little lighter in the hair color compared to the last time we saw her. All right, here's McKinney. The wind and grind type shot on the baseline is good. She contorted the whole entire body to make that shot.
I mean, all of her body. And she did a great job. She's living on with those baseline jumpers.
On the other end, Kentucky State trying to take advantage. Block shot right there by Randall, but on the rebound, Laurie Thomas is there for the putback. I think that's one of the things you were talking about with Randall. You know, she got flustered because she made one good play, but then was not able to make the next play as Postma goes off glass and scores right there to make it a 9-point lead.
Absolutely. Just have to be patient down there.
And it's starting to get loud here in Knox Windham. 2:16 to go. 30-21 is your score. Miles on top. And oh man, look at that move right there. That was silky smooth by Helena Cantone.
That's a player who's a former SIAC Player of the Week from the week of December 13th. Those kind of moves that get you those types of awards.
She's averaging 12 points per contest, 5 rebounds per game. Here's Greer trying to go through the spin cycle, and there's a block right there by Victoria Vincent. On the other end, here comes Kentucky State. Vincent gets the put back, but her shot's off the mark. Throwing it up court now, Unique McKinney in a 1-on-2 situation. McKinney pulls up and knocks down the jumper.
That's a good look by McKinney, but that defender has to recognize the situation. It was 2-on-1 in favor of K-State. She needed to step up and cut the ball off.
Here's Cantone running the offense. She'll get it over to Thomas. Thomas dribbles, pulls up from the free throw line, shot off the mark, rebound, goes over to Imani Williams, and look who's down court once again, Unique McKinney, and oh, what a play by Kentucky State right there, all ball. Feneline's got the ball, she get over to Cantone, back to Feneline for 3, air ball.
See, ball don't lie. You said all ball, but the problem is ball never left her hand, so it had to hit something, and then the air ball on the other end. I think we know what really was supposed to happen there.
Correct. And the Miles student section across the way from us, they let her know when she hit that air ball or didn't hit anything at all.
Right. Air ball or anything at all. Y'all. I'm not a rapper.
I'm not either. I'm just trying to just make some things rhyme. Under a minute to go. Amaya Harris back into the game, being guarded closely by Fenelon. Here's Harris. Almost loses her footing. And Miles will turn the ball over on the play. Definitely a possession Miles could have utilized.
Absolutely. Slayton tried to put her shoulder down and get in the paint. She was met by a brick wall and lost the ball.
35 seconds to go. Here comes Kentucky State down 32-23. Fenelon with the ball, being guarded closely by Williams and Harris. Eventually, she'll get it over inside to Victoria Vincent, and Vincent will draw the foul on the play. Vincent is listed as a 6'5" freshman.
And the long braid might add another 2 feet.
Taking the ball out will be Cantone. Cantone trying to get it inside to Vincent. And he eventually gets it over to Fenelon. Into the hands now of Cantone. Cantone goes between the legs, pulls up for the jumper, off the glass, and she banks it in. 32-25 is your score.
Cantone is just so smooth in the mid-range.
7 seconds to go. Could be the final possession of the half. Here's Harris coming around the screen. Harris will pull up off the mark, and that's how the first half will end with your score, 32-25. Lady Golden Bears on top of the Thoroughbreds as we go into the locker room. Let's take a look at some of your high scores for both teams. First of all, on Kentucky State, we've got Cantone. She's got 7 points. For Miles, no surprise here, Amaya Harris, 11 points on the evening. Taking a look at some team stats now. Miles is 11 of 26 from the field, shooting 42%, while Kentucky State is 10 of 30 from the field, shooting 33%. Miles is 2 for 5 from three-point range, and Kentucky State 3 for 6, 50% from three-point range. Free throw shooting, how about this? Kentucky State has not been to the free throw line this entire first half, while Miles has been to the free throw line 11 times and made 8. Have you ever seen anything like this where a team has not been to the free throw line at all in the first half?
No, I don't think I have seen anything like that before. That's different. That's really different. I'm not complaining, but it is different.
Absolutely, absolutely. All right, everyone, we're at halftime. Your score, Miles, Lady Golden Bears 32, Kentucky State 25. We will take a break and we will join you for second half action right here on BCSN and also HBCU League Pass Plus.
Would be applicable for this show. Drew, as you kind of listen to other recap shows, I know through the course of the week, I know Dr. Cavill's show, we did one for the O&G. Anything that's come out of those shows that maybe you forgot about?
Yeah. Every show has come up with something that has jumped off my mind, fell off the radar, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because obviously a lot of it deals with perspective, with where you are and what your interests are. But there are a lot of stories that were out there, and we were even discussing some yesterday that were left off everybody's list, and we were going back and forth with each other as we were trying to get our headlines together for this show. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then here's the other thing, Brian. How many of those stories you were like, was that this year? Was that last year? As these sports years tend to, when you go from sports year to calendar year and try to remember whether it occurred in that calendar year or in an academic year, it gets kind of tough sometimes keeping all that stuff together. And one other thing, Brian, I did have one new vocabulary word that I got in my lexicon this year, Brian.
Okay.
Duopoly.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I learned what a duopoly was. If I didn't learn anything else this year, I learned what a duopoly was, thanks to HBCU Go and those people over there.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little last week. The overwhelming contract with the whole HBCU Go was probably the story or moment. It definitely was one of the top three, I think, of the year. I mean, you could, whether you want to say Coach Prime and the year of Coach Prime, the good, bad, and the ugly, whether you want to include that as one of the moments of the year, because it seemed like every week, every month, there was something. The HBCU Go deal, what we learned about compliance, those are just some of the things that, but I think media rights and understanding, and I still, to this day, Drew, don't think people really grasp media rights, because I think people still are comparing, which you should never do. You're comparing a billion-dollar industry, SEC, with $1 million industry, which is SWAC. And it's two different things, so I think night and day. It's night and day. And I think there's also historical precedent in that as well, which also I think affects, the numbers. So I just, I think we're still looking for clarity. I think people are looking for their own individual understanding, because I think most of us are visual. And what we want to be able to see, Drew, we want to be able to see numbers. See what it is you can see in the SEC is you can see numbers, and you can see the direct impact of numbers, right? You can see the value in the money, and you can see the facilities. You can see the locker rooms. You can see the improvement in recruiting budgets, which allow for them to, you all those things are tangible, but we're still at the infancy stage. So I hope people can, no one's been able to sort of pump the brakes a little bit in this whole thing, as they have, people have sort of argued and fussed about, how much money this is providing, this is giving. Nobody really is sort of. I think what I really wish more people would turn to in 2023 is towards NIL, to be honest with you, because there are opportunities for HBCUs and HBCU schools within the NIL market. Each school, through whether it be alumni organizations, collectives, could be doing more. And why aren't we doing more? That's something that I think, really could be a powerful play in 2023. So it's time to stop talking about it so much, and let's start making it happen for these young people.
Yeah. Well, Brian, NIL is a good thing. NIL is not for everybody. I mean, who's going to benefit from NIL? The quarterback, the wide receiver, the leading scorer on the basketball team, maybe the hot pitcher on the softball team. Maybe if you've got that elite track star, but you're probably talking about 10 to 20 athletes at a university who would benefit from NIL. What we need to look at for our universities is making them more competitive, especially our Division I universities, by being able to increase the money that the athletic departments have so they can give cost of attendance. And for those who are not familiar with cost of attendance, that is the money that student athletes receive on top of books, room, board, and meal plans to attend the school. That includes costs such as how much does it cost for you to get from your home in Indianapolis, Indiana, Brian, to Tallahassee, Florida, to go to Florida A&M University. That includes some of the other ancillary costs. Entertainment costs is included in that. Can these kids get $5,000 each? Can they get $10,000 each? And you break it up over 2 semesters. Can they get $1,000 each right now, Brian? I'd be happy if these kids got $1,000 each for attending these universities. But let's keep in mind, you're talking 200 to 300 athletes at a university, so that's a nice chunk of change if you're going to do it. So if you had 250 athletes and you were to give them if you were to give them $5,000 a piece, well, that's $1.25 million, Brian. That has to be found somewhere. So, but those are some of the things that we need to build toward, and NIL, as you like it, become the gravy on top of it, because student athletes can't be like
would be applicable for this show. Drew, as you kind of listen to other recap shows, I know through the course of the week, I know Dr. Cavill's show, we did one for for the O&G. Anything that's come out of those shows that maybe you forgot about?
Yeah. Every show has come up with something that has jumped off my mind, fell off the radar, and then I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. Because obviously a lot of it deals with perspective, where you are and what your interests are. But there are a lot of stories that were out there, and we were even discussing some yesterday that were left off everybody's list, and we were going back and forth with each other as we were trying to get our headlines together for this show. It was like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. And then here's the other thing, Brian. How many of those stories you were like, was that this year? Was that last year? As these sports years tend to, when you go from sports year to calendar year and try to remember whether it occurred in that calendar year or in an academic year, it gets kind of tough sometimes keeping all that stuff together. And one other thing, Brian, I did have one new vocabulary word that I got in my lexicon this year, Brian.
Okay.
Duopoly.
Ah, yes. Yeah.
I learned what a duopoly was. If I didn't learn anything else this year, I learned what a duopoly was, thanks to HBCU Go and those people over there.
Yeah, I think we talked about this a little last week. The overwhelming contract with the whole HBCU Go was probably the story or moment. It definitely was one of the top three, I think, of the year. I mean, you could, whether you want to say Coach Prime and the year of Coach Prime, the good, bad, and the ugly, whether you want to include that as one of the moments of the year, because it seemed like every week, every month, there was something. The HBCU Go deal, what we learned about compliance, those are just some of the things that, but I think media rights and understanding, and I still, to this day, Drew, don't think people really grasp media rights, because I think people still are comparing, which you should never do. You're comparing a billion-dollar industry, SEC, with $1 million industry, which is SWAC. And it's two different things, so I think night and day. It's night and day. And I think there's also a historical precedent in that as well, which also I think affects, the numbers. So I just, I think we're still looking for clarity. I think people are looking for their own individual understanding, because I think most of us are visual. And what we want to be able to see, Drew, we want to be able to see numbers. See what it is you can see in the SEC is you can see numbers, and you can see the direct impact of numbers, right? You can see the value in the money, and you can see the facilities. You can see the locker rooms. You can see.
And halftime is just about wrapping up here inside of the Knox Windham Gymnasium. Your score at the break: Miles 32, Kentucky State 25. Mo Carter and Nick Finch on the broadcast this evening. Nick, we talk about this all the time. What do you think head coaches Pete Asman told his team, and then what do you think that head coach Terrence Slater told his team while they were in the locker room?
I think both coaches are going to have similar messages, and that's to slow down. Because while I think it's really easy to play too fast, and when you do that, you are more than likely to turn the ball over. Miles has 11 turnovers in this game. Kentucky State right now sitting at 10 turnovers. If you take your time, work the ball into the paint, let your bigs control the pace a little bit, it gives you a better chance to dictate the flow of the game and come away with the win. Right now, with the ball flying as fast as it is, even though it's a 7-point lead for Miles College, it's still anybody's ball game.
Absolutely, and we've seen leads evaporate quickly in this gym. Here's a stolen ball. It goes up court to number 22, Imani Williams. She decides to hold off and get the ball back to Harris, Amaya Harris. And we got to travel. So just as quickly as Miles is able to pick up the ball off a turnover, they turn the ball over back on the receiving end.
Yeah, Ashley tried to spin there and kind of moved our pivot foot, not on purpose. It results in the turnover there.
One thing I didn't talk about during the pregame notes, as we come to this game, in the SIAC West, Miles is 6-3. Kentucky State is 6-4. These two teams are number 2 and number 3 in the SIAC West, right behind undefeated Tuskegee. So you talk about how big of a game this is, not just from a wins perspective, but from a standings perspective, as for Leah Greer scores right here off the ricochet and gives her team a 9-point lead. And we've got an early timeout, but we're going to go ahead and just stay right here with that. So, yeah, we were talking from a standing standpoint. Tuskegee is undefeated in the SIAC West, but right behind them is Miles. They're 6-3, and then Kentucky State, they're 6-4. So when you take a look at it, man, like the fact that second place is truly on the line between either one of these teams, you talk about the importance that these teams have tonight. It literally goes an extra step besides just winning.
Absolutely, because a higher seed means a better positioning in the conference tournament. The conference tournament, you know, you win that, you get an automatic bid to a regional. You'll probably be at a Florida school or one of the Tennessee schools. So it's just a matter of making sure you handle business now so you can have better positioning later.
Yes, sir. And here's another thing, too. We're in January. There's only about 5 weeks of basketball left to be played. If I'm not mistaken, February 18th is the final home contest that Miles will be having. So, you know, you think about it, it's not that much time between now and then. Yeah, Miles' last home game will be February 18th. Their last game of the season will be on February the 23rd against Albany State, and that's on a Thursday. That following Saturday, they're starting the SIAC tournament over at Savannah State in Georgia.
I would say, I'm going to say, if not, you say that's the February 23rd, Thursday, they'd probably be starting it February 28th. Yeah, I'd say about 5 days from that point.
Yeah, so it's not that long from there.
Yeah, or that Tuesday, whatever the last Tuesday in February is. I don't have the calendar right in front of me, but I'm willing to bet that's when that conference tournament starts.
Oh, it's all good. I had it in front of me earlier, and I had it in a text message. I'll figure it out, but I do know for sure it's at Savannah State this year. Last year it was in South Carolina. This year it'll be on the campus of Savannah State University. Here's a trap right here in front of our broadcast table. Cantone got trapped by 2 Miles, Lady Golden Bears. Luckily, she was able to throw it off the leg of one of them and keep possession.
I didn't mean to laugh, but Cantone just looks over. She said, somebody do something.
I know, I understand that frustration right there, man. Cantone now will kick it out to Kerr. Kerr's shot off the mark. Rebound goes over to Greer. She gets it up to Harris. Harris swings it back over to Greer. Greer pulls up for the jumper inside the three-point arc, off the mark. Back inside to Daria Ashley, and she scores. Imani Williams, though, with a nice assist right there.
Unselfish basketball always leads to good results.
Ashley had perfect position down low. Speaking of perfect position, check out that one right there. A bucket by Kentucky State and one coming up for number 24, Jasmine Elder.
Elder taking her time, working down low, getting a bucket.
Elder definitely caught Miles College sleeping on defense, that one.
6'1" freshman, Elder doing her work. 6'1" junior forward doing the work down low. Couldn't get that free throw to go, though.
She cannot complete the three-point play, so the game remains 36-27. Here's Harris being guarded closely by Dilworth. Harris trying to get a little separation. Gets a screen from Tadaria Ashley. Now Tadaria Ashley will get the ball on the baseline. The Euro step inside. Missed shot the first time. She gets the rebound. Misses the second shot, but she is fouled on the play.
Yeah, kind of lost control of it going up the first time. You know, she'd just been able to hang on to it. She might have gotten it able to go the first time, but instead she stat pads a little bit and goes to the line to shoot some free throws.
So going to the free throw line will be Tadaria Ashley. Let's take a look at those free throw stats for Miss Ashley. On the year, she's only a 46% free throw shooter, but she has not been to the line a lot. But she sinks that one right there. Here comes the second free throw attempt for Tadaria Ashley, and it's good. And look, just to think about it, man. So we saw Elder go to the free throw line. That was the first free throw attempt that Kentucky State had this entire game.
That's right.
Like, that's unbelievable. Here's Vincent. Her shot along the baseline is off the mark. Rebound goes back over to Cantone, and Cantone gets it inside to number 32, Lori Thomas, who scores. Don't know exactly how she got that ball inside there, but the result was a 2-point bucket for the Thoroughbreds. All right, here we go on the other end. Here's Leah Greer. She goes straight up against Vincent, and Vincent gets a part of that block. On the other end, we thought we had a shot right there by Kerr, but we've got a foul away from the ball.
There's going to be an offensive foul on should have been Laurie Thomas, not Sydney Thomas.
See what happens with those play cousins?
Yeah.
Bringing the ball up court now is Kelly Finkley. Finkley in for Harris. Finkley goes inside to Imani Williams, and Imani Williams' shot is off the mark. Pushing the ball up court now is Cantone. Cantone trying to take it all the way. Great block by Falia Greer. Greer not pushing it up. And the ball goes off the hands of Vincent, so it will remain with Miles College.
A lot of in traffic needle threading right there from both these teams.
Absolutely. And look, we have always appreciate people who are watching our broadcast, including our BCS brother, A.D. Drew, who just said, "Hey Mo, the conference tournament for the SIAC begins February the 25th and rolls all the way through March the 4th on the campus of Savannah State University."
Oh, so it starts that Saturday.
Absolutely. So it's the same day as the CAIAA Championship and the GCAC Championship. A lot of basketball going on during that last week of February and that first week of March. On the other end, here's Unique McKinney. Her shot's off the mark. Then Tadaria Ashley's shot is blocked by Vincent. Good defense by Kentucky State on that sequence. Here's Cantone coming off the screen. Cantone looked like she took an extra step, but it was not called. She'll kick it out to Kerr. Kerr shot off the mark. Rebound goes over to Tadaria Ashley. Kentucky State getting a lot of good looks on that possession, just could not make anything fall.
Absolutely. They're going to look back on the film of this game and realize how many good looks they had. They just couldn't go. And they'll actually probably feel better about it. You never feel good about a loss, but they'll feel better about it.
Tadaria Ashley trying to get a floater off, but it's blocked by Vincent. On the other end, here comes Kerr, but her ball goes over her fingertips, but she touched it last. Ball going back over to the Lady Golden Bears.
That's one of those things where I know you want to push it and you want to try to get that easy bucket, but it's not an easy bucket if you can't complete the play. There's nothing wrong with slowing it down and taking your time.
Absolutely. So as we talked about, like how quickly the schedule is going to go, the last home game for Miles, the Lady Golden Bears, will be against Lemoyne Owen on February the 18th. There are 2 road games. At Lane on February the 20th, then at Albany State. Actually, they'll have another home game against Albany State on February the 23rd. Then after that, they hit the tournament on that Saturday, the 25th.
Yeah.
So they won't be wasting any time, man.
Actually, that's a pretty quick turnaround.
Absolutely. Speaking of turnarounds, how about Cantone getting around to get that bucket right there? 40-39 is your score.
I tell you one, there's not many better places to do a conference tournament than Savannah, Georgia.
Absolutely. We got a timeout on the floor. We're going to take it with it. 4:31 to go in the third quarter. Miles on top, 40-31. You're watching HBCU basketball on the HBCU League Pass Plus.
People think unusual circumstances means complicated taxes. But for a TurboTax Live expert like me, it just makes things interesting. So, give us everything you've got.
What if I'm a professional gamer with a ton of expenses?
If they help drive views, let's talk deductions.
What if I'm in a state with no income tax, but my survival videos are viewed in 38 countries?
I can help. And if this is a business dinner, save those jerky receipts. An interesting life can mean an even greater refund. You do your thing. We've got your taxes. Intuit TurboTax Live.
Verizon just gave us all a brand new iPhone 13.
We've been customers for years. I thought new phones were for new customers. We got iPhone 13s too, switched to Verizon 2 minutes ago.
Ours were busted, and we still got a shiny new one.
Check it out. So wait, everybody gets the same great deal?
I think that's the point.
iPhone 13 on us for every customer. Current, new, everyone. On any unlimited plan, starting at just $35. All on the network more people rely on.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, trying to get down.
And we're back here inside the Knox Williams Gymnasium in Fairfield, Alabama, on the campus of Miles College. Lady Golden Bears taking on Kentucky State. They're on top 40-31. Mo Carter and Nick Finch on the broadcast this evening. We want to thank you for joining us on the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. Of course, we honor the life and legacy of the civil rights icon. And I saw a lot of people doing acts of service today. Of course, every once in a while, you're going to see a few people do the actual Dr. King programs. But I did see a lot more service projects being done today as the three-point shot is off the mark by Cantone. On the other end, here's Unique McKinney. Her layup is off the mark. Here comes Fenelon. Fenelon in the corner. Pull-up jumper by Kentucky State off the back iron, and we got a loose ball foul on the floor. Nariah Slayton will be called for the loose ball foul. But yeah, today on the holiday, I did see a lot of people do acts of service in and around the Huntsville, Alabama community where, you know, I currently reside.
Yeah, there were different events going on in Tuscaloosa as well. But, you know, MLK Day is always a good day or a good opportunity for your organizations to get out and do different things in the community. Anytime's a good time, but especially today when folks are off from work, everybody has the opportunity to pitch in and do something positive.
Yes, sir. Last year, I had a chance to serve as the MC for the Huntsville Alumni Chapter for Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated for their annual breakfast, and had an opportunity to do an interview with Joan Mulholland. For people who do not know who that is, she was a civil rights icon. However, she did not look like you and I. Yes, she was on record the first white member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. She went to Tougaloo College. She was a freedom rider. And she also was with several others at the Woolworth sit-in, where you saw individuals pouring milkshakes on the heads of not only her, but other African Americans who were just trying to get equal rights. So I'll tell you this, I mean, that lady, you know, she's got a, you know, she has a graceful age on her, but I also will say she is still in her right mind, and man, she had some great stories to tell, and it was phenomenal having her on last year for the Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. breakfast in the Huntsville, Alabama area.
You just have to admire the courage and the work that took. where it shouldn't have had to be done, but I'm so glad that it was.
Absolutely. Speaking of work, Miles College trying to go back with her Falia Greer. She's got the ball. Get it over to Unique McKinney. McKinney goes inside to Madison Lee. Ball gets ricocheted out of bounds. Last touch by Kentucky State.
I'll tell you one thing. Madison Lee, if that pass had arrived any earlier, she'd still be on the floor right now because it would have hit her in the face. McKinney put some sauce on that pass.
Here's the inbounds. It'll get over to Madison Lee. Madison Lee gets it over to Amaya Harris. 5 seconds to go on the shot clock. Harris pulls up for three. Off the mark, but she is fouled by Fenelon. She'll head back to the free throw line for her second opportunity to get 3 free throws.
Yeah, once again, the same thing that happened. Fenelon did not give Harris the opportunity to land. That's a big, that's been a point of emphasis these past 2 years. And Harris didn't do anything, kick her legs out. Got to give the opportunity to land safely. That's how she gets the chance to make this a double-digit lead for Miles College.
Clearly, Harris is one of the leading scorers on the team. She's also one of the best free throw shooters on the team as well. 71% free throw shooter as she knocks down the first bucket to give her team a 10-point lead. Second free throw coming up for Harris. And it's good. 42-34. 42-31 is your score. And here's the third free throw. She goes 3 for 3. Substitution coming in for Kentucky State is number 15, Nina Blade.
Right now, I want to see if Kentucky State will use their height advantage. I mean, they have some tall people in this lineup. That's the way to go. Let's see if they can do it.
Correct. Their outside shooting has not been great during this quarter. And there's a steal. And should have been a kickball by Falia Greer, but they didn't call it on that one. So here's Fenelon. She's running the offense. She'll get it over to Kerr. Kerr with the dribble. Get it over to Fenelon once again. She will swing it over to number 22. That's Thomas. Thomas swings it over to the other Thomas, Lori Thomas. Here's Kerr. Gets tied up, but looks like they're going to call Greer for a foul.
I'll tell you what. That was... I know some people are going to look at that offensive set and didn't find anything impressive, but I'm telling you, there was a bunch of high screens during that whole thing that if anybody that looked inside it cut quickly, went a shot at the basket. But, man, that was good basketball action from Kentucky State.
Taking the ball out is Kerr. She'll get it over to Fenelon. Look back for Kerr in the corner. It wasn't there. Thomas now with the ball.
Watch that high screen. It was cut down that time. They were ready for it. They were looking for it that time.
Here's Fenelon. She'll get it over to Kerr. Kerr dribbling it out. 6 seconds to go on the shot clock. Swinging it back over to number 15. That is Blade. And her shot's off the mark from the top of the free throw line. Rebound goes to Thomas.
I was saying that's a good look. She just didn't hit it.
Here's Unique McKinney. She's got a good look. And she hits that. And Maya Harris setting up that play. For Unique McKinney to pull down the long jumper. 45-31 is your score. A minute 33 to go. And we got a turnover. Ball goes back over to the Lady Golden Bears.
So Kentucky State's doing more screen action right here on the wings. Well, excuse me, I should say the elbows. But Miles doing a good job of packing the paint to make sure that those screeners are not getting a chance at the rim. I'm like Kentucky State's head coach, Coach Slater. I would have thought that would have been a good thing to go to.
Not a bad observation right there. Here's Harris. She'll get it over to Daria Ashley. 8 seconds to go on the shot clock. Going inside. We'll click it over to Daria Ashley. Her shot's off the mark from the top of the free throw line. Rebound goes over to Kentucky State. Here comes Cantone. Cantone wanted to push it, but Coach Slater was like, wait, hold on. Let's set something up. And we've got a travel. Ball goes back over to Miles. I guess that's what he was talking about. They were wanting him. He wanted them to set something up, but Kentucky State's players were trying to rush the situation.
All right. And I think that time that was the wrong call. Miles wasn't ready. You get allowed the defense an opportunity to set up there. They were scrambling.
Kelly Finkley bringing the ball up court now. Coming off the screen. She's double teamed. She gets over to Daria Ashley, over to Madison Lee. Lee for three, off the mark. Rebound goes between the legs of Harris and into the hands of Cantone. Actually, into the hands of Kerr. 18 seconds to go. No shot clock. Here's Thomas. Thomas pulls up inside and scores. 45-33. Here's Finkley. She's got 5 seconds. Finkley, can she get the last shot up? She pulls up, off the mark, and that's how we will end the third quarter. So your score, Lady Golden Bears 45, Kentucky State 33. We'll be right back with fourth quarter action here on HBCU League Pass Plus.
When you work in IT, complaints are part of the job.
Bill says the coffee's weak today.
But since CDW helped us switch to Mac, everyone's happier. Dan from Finance likes getting performance without a big price tag. Phoebe digs the power of the Apple M1 chip. Mac is easy to manage, compatible with all our apps, and came pre-configured by CDW. Now we're even getting compliments.
That was Bill again, says he loves his new Mac. He's right about the coffee.
Hey, babe, meet us at the bottom of the trail.
Oh, man. Hey.
Open up. The redesigned Chevy Silverado with a sophisticated high-tech interior.
Open the door.
It's easy to forget it's a truck.
Thanks.
Nice truck.
It was.
Find new style. Find new roads. Chevrolet.
It's like a loot machine. All around town, try to get down.
Second place in the SIAC West on the line tonight as Miles takes on Kentucky State. Welcome back to all the action, everyone. Mo Carter, Nick Finch on the call. Madison Lee with the ball. She'll get over to Maya Harris. Harris takes another three, and she's fouled from three-point range once again. She is going to the free throw line for the third time with an opportunity to knock down 3 free throws.
That's what happens when you're fast and the defense is keyed on you. You can take advantage of all of that and make the defense do stuff they don't normally do and send you to the line to get some easy points.
Right now on the evening, Maya Harris with 15 points to lead all scorers. Kentucky State's leading scorer is Cantone. She's got 13. Harris, 2 for 2. Harris has made 8 free throws tonight. Can she make it 9? Let's not jinx her. And she does it. 9 for 9 from the free throw line. She's got 16 points.
That one wasn't as smooth as the other ones.
But it went through the hoop. 9:39 to go in the ball game. Well, in regulation. 48-33 is your score. Miles, Lady Golden Bears on top. Kentucky State tries to go inside off the fingertips of the center and out of bounds. Ball goes back over to Miles.
That's the first quarter play. That's the third quarter play. But down 15, you don't try that kind of entry pass. You want to do, when you're in that situation, what to do, sure, bounce tight, making sure it gets to that teammate tight pass.
Here's Madison Lee. Goes bank shot and rims around and scores.
That touched every part of the rim right there. She got that one to go.
It did. The most important thing is that it went through the hoop. 50-33 is your score. Lady Golden Bears up by 17. Kerr running the offense for Kentucky State. Gets it over to Cantone. Cantone wants to go inside to Vincent, and it's just not happening. And Kentucky State is forced to call the timeout. We're going to keep it right here, though. So with 8:43 to go, if Kentucky State wants to make any sort of comeback, they've got to start with this next possession on offense that they'll have in the next minute.
Right, I was going to say, Kentucky kind of looks confused because it looks like they're trying to run action that they haven't practiced before. This is the first time I've seen them do the 4 down and 1 high. And if you're not used to that action, you don't know to look for when the screener comes around. You don't know to look for that cross-court pass to an open three-point shooter. If you don't run that action off, you don't know what to see off of it. So while it might be a good idea to use in theory, and practice it, you don't know for the nuances of it that helps it be super successful. There's nothing wrong with the set in that formation, but if you're not used to, accustomed to doing it, it's not going to do you any good.
Now down the other side with Miles, clearly, Coach Pete Eisman, he's basically just telling his young ladies, we've been in this situation before, double-digit lead, fourth quarter, let's put them away.
Right, and you can do that 2 different ways. You can keep the ball in Harris's hands just to, take the air out of the ball, or when that double team inevitably comes to her, you make sure that she can find or has a clear view of the open teammate and get the bucket at the basket, so to speak. Words are hard for some reason. I'm getting over a sinus infection and we're doing the best we can here.
No, I understand, man. We've all been there. And here's an offensive foul. Kentucky State turns the ball over off that foul. Miles will get the ball back.
Yeah, did not have her feet set. You see what I mean? Words are hard. Didn't have her feet set, did Dilworth there.
You're good, man. Even though words are hard, your catchphrases have been pretty good tonight. Falia Greer checking back into the game now. Your score 50 for Miles, 33 for Kentucky State. Here's Postma back into the game. Postma thought about a shot, gets to Greer. Greer goes off glass and score. Greer appears to be limping a little bit. I could not make out what the official said on that.
Game. What happened was after the shot was made, Randall kind of caught the ball coming out of the net and got the delay a game call. She does it again, it'll be a technical.
But 52-33 is your score.
You mentioned Greer limping. She started limping last time down the court. Stayed in, grabbed her hamstring, and kind of came up limping again from the hamstring there.
Gutsy performance by Greer thus far. Is Finna line. We'll get it over to Cantone. Cantone pulls up for 3, well off the mark. Postma comes up with the rebound, and she's going to push it. Postma takes it coast to coast. Her shot off the mark, out of bounds. The ball goes back over to Kentucky State.
I understand the desire, but, at this point, just work it to Randall. Let Randall get comfortable in his gym, get some buckets going. Because, when you get to conference tournament time, you get the postseason time, you want Randall to be confident in what she's doing.
I mean, clearly this offense goes for Havers, but Randall can be a game changer for the Lady Golden Bears.
And she exactly was, just like that. Right when you said it, she gets the steal on the inside.
Speaking it into assistance, my friend. 7:33 to go. 52-33 is your score. Here's Amani Williams. We'll get it back over to Randall. Here's Postma, the pull-up. Off the mark, but Greer with the rebound, but her putback is off the mark too. Amani Williams tracks down the rebound, gets it inside the Randall. Randall cannot make it in the paint. 3 good looks for Miles, and no dice on any of them. On the other end, Thomas's shot off the mark. Another shot off the mark by Elder. And the ball goes out of bounds. Unique McKinney coming to the game.
Sometimes when you're calling these games, it's really fun to see the game within the game. Like, it's your job to watch what's going on ball, but then I'm sitting here just looking at the post and watching Randall do everything she can to try to be involved. She'll get the ball up top as she comes out of the game here and then want to go set the screen. Her teammate doesn't use the screen. But, what can you do to get involved when that doesn't happen,
6:58 to go in regulation. Miles on top, 52-33. Fenelon taking the ball out for Kentucky State. She'll get it over to Cantone, who thought about a three-pointer. Instead, she gets it out to Thomas. Gets it back over to Cantone. 14 seconds to go on your shot clock.
Good hedge of the screen there.
And Unique McKinney will be called for the reach-in foul.
These officials have been unintentionally hilarious tonight in the things that they've done.
And here comes Amaya Harris back into the game. Amaya Harris leading all scorers with 17 points.
Right now, K-State has to get that outside shooting going. You're running out of time. You got to get some stuff going.
Here's Cantone. Has the ball stolen by Unique McKinney. McKinney. I don't know what happened on that one, but her and Slayton weren't not on the same page.
Slayton wasn't looking for it at all. McKinney tried to get it to her in transition. That's what happened. There's a little miscommunication.
And here's a block by Slayton, so I guess she made up for that last play.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was all ball all the way that time. There is no question about it, about that one.
So what do you think about Fenelon taking out the ball? She's by far the smallest player on the court for Kentucky State. As the ball gets turned over, Slayton comes up with the steal.
I think it kind of telegraphs what you're going to do with the ball. You know, being the smaller defender, a smaller player, they did exactly what I thought they were going to do, and they bounced it inside.
Here's Harris going inside to Imani Williams, and Williams has the ball knocked away out of bounds. Miles will have the ball underneath the basket with 13 seconds to go on the shot clock. Fenelon. Nice pass from Tadaria Ashley and Monty Williams. Kentucky State didn't see that one coming.
I did not. They expected it probably to go back out to Harris.
Here's Sydney Thomas, gets it over to Fenelon. Fenelon driving inside. She will kick it out. Three-point bucket off the mark for Kentucky State by Cantone. Just rimmed out. Here's Thomas, gets to the Fenelon. Fenelon will straight on three, off the mark. Rebound goes to Slayton.
Two good looks, just couldn't get him to go.
Here's Harris, gets it over Unique McKinney. McKinney pulls up from the corner. Rims out, off the mark, scramble for the ball, and Kentucky State will take over.
Talk about, sometimes there's being in the right place at the right time, and there's being in the wrong place at the wrong time. And Ashley was sitting there on the floor, and the ball ends up going out of bounds off her foot.
Madison Lee checking back in for Miles. We're almost at the 5-minute mark. And everyone, don't forget, coming up after the game, we will talk to head coach Pete Asman about today's contest against Kentucky State. Following that, we'll take a brief intermission before we get ready for the men's game tonight between the Golden Bears and the Thoroughbreds, another key matchup in the SIAC West. Here's Cantone, gets it over to Thomas. Thomas will pull up for three, well off the mark. Ball last went off the hands of Madison Lee. And she knows it too. She tried to play it off, but she couldn't play it off that long.
Just can't get anything. So many good looks just not going right now for Kentucky State.
Here's from the line, throw it inside to Elder. Elder will get it over to Cantone. Here's Cantone, 12 seconds to go. She'll get it over to Thomas. Thomas's three-pointer well off the mark. Into the hands of Fenelon. She'll get it over to Cantone. She had a good look, but she decided not to take the three-pointer. 13 seconds to go on the shot clock. Here's a deep three by Cantone. Does not connect on that one.
Even with it being a deep three, it's still right on line, just missed right off the front of the rim, and it's such, the score is a 19-point margin, but the game hasn't been a 19-point difference.
It has not. And we've got a foul on the floor.
This foul was on Madison Lee there, defending the inbounder.
Here's Thomas. Get it over to the other Thomas. 12 seconds to go on the shot clock. Back over to Thomas. Inside to Elder. Elder, the power dribble, and she misses the shot. Rebound, and the putback off the mark. Tadaria Ashley tries to save the ball going out of bounds, but it will remain with Kentucky State.
I have never met DeRasia Randall a day in my life, but I'm telling you, as this season winds down, the success of Miles College is going to depend on her play. She has been phenomenal. Like, I don't know if it's going to show up in the stat sheet, but she has done some work in this game tonight.
She is a hustler for sure. All right, there we go. There's a volunteer to get that wet spot dried up.
Like, I'm just in her 14 minutes of play, she's got a point. She's got 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 steals, and 2 blocks. And she's obviously contested and changed so many other possessions defensively for the Golden Bears.
She's earned her stripes tonight for sure.
I think I did a good job of covering up the discussion of the shot clock right there. I mean, I meant what I said, but, you know, we had something to talk about as well. And look at it.
And it is a steal. It's like you're speaking into the existence, my friend. On the other end, Amaya Harris with the rock. Gets it inside to Daria Ashley. Here's a three-point attempt off the mark. That was Tamisha Staten, young lady from right down the road in Pleasant Grove. Oh, man, Cantone blew right by her and straight to the goal for the bucket. 54-35 remains your score.
Cantone seemed annoyed that she was able to get that shot to go. Like, I wish that had been available all game.
Here's to Daria Ashley going inside. And there's a foul on Randall will be fouled on the play.
Jasmine Elder got a little too aggressive trying to keep Greer out of position. I mean, Randall out of position there. Look at this high action to get it up to Harris here with about 18 seconds left on the shot clock. No need for the Golden Bears to work fast either. With almost 3 minutes to go. Big lead. Take every second you can.
Here's another three-point attempt. Off the mark. Staten misses her second three-pointer. On the other end, here comes Fenelon. She would get it over to Thomas. To the other Thomas. Back in the hands of Fenelon. Into the hands of Thomas. Back to Fenelon. 17 seconds to go on the shot clock. She tries to go inside the Elder, and there's a foul on the floor.
Say Kentucky State taking a lot of time trying to get a shot up. It's Tamisha Staten called for the foul there. I don't remember seeing Staten play a lot last time we were here.
I don't either. I remember she played, sparingly in some of the first games of the season. Those times when you're trying to really still set your roster.
Right.
Here's the Elder, gets good position and scores inside, making it 54-37.
Bad gamble there from Randall. So now that positioning there for Elder.
2:15 to go in the game. Here's Harris. Swings it out, three-point attempt from the corner. It's good by Staten. She missed the first one. She missed the second one, but she knocked down that third one. She makes it a 20-point lead. 57-37 is your score. Here's Thomas. We'll get into the hands of Fenelon. She goes inside the Elder and is tipped away by Ashley. Good heads-up play by Tadaria Ashley. Checking to the game now, Talia Dilworth.
I'll tell you one thing. Jasmine Elder has the body type for making the region tournament here in the South. And what I mean by that is when you get her matching up against teams in the Gulf South Conference, the Sunshine State Conference, she has the physical tools. She just needs the experience to be able to match up when it comes to NCAA regional time.
Here's a jump ball possession. It will remain with Kentucky State.
Seems like we've been under 2 minutes for about 10 minutes at this point.
I know, right? A whole lot of things have happened in these last 20 seconds. Here's a scramble. Elder loses the ball and it goes to the hands of Madison Lee. Finkley now with the ball. As you mentioned, just run some clock. This game appears not to be in jeopardy with a 20-point deficit under 1:30 to go.
It's a good time for your reserves to run some plays and make sure they know the playbook.
Here's a three-pointer, and it's good before the buzzer. Kelly Finkley with the bucket. 60-37 is your score. Yeah, I'm happy.
I was wondering if they were going to try to work Elder some more, what they were going to do here.
Here's Cantone, drives on our defender. It's off the mark. Tries to get the steal, and good hustle play by Cantone. She is playing all the way to the final buzzer for sure.
Interesting no call there. You would have thought that it'd be in the whistle for at least some type of foul, but nothing was called.
So Miles will take a timeout to get a few subs in. With 43 seconds to go, coming up at the end of our contest, we will hear from head coach Pete Asman about tonight's game. And maybe he'll give us a little insight about Wednesday's game.
I was going to say, it looked like there was going to be an opportunity for a full timeout. Fisher's like, no, it's going to be a 30. Let's get this over with.
On the Wednesday, Miles will play host to Central State, and we will have it right here on HBCU League Pass Plus and BCSN.
You say Central State? Oh, that's going to be fun. That's a great night.
Yes, sir. And then that game on January 28th against Tuskegee, it's going to be a time that evening. It's alumni week for Miles.
I think Stillman has a home game that weekend, and I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm really disappointed, but you know what? It's fine. It's going to be fine.
Are you talking about the 28th?
Yeah.
Yeah, they play Bruton Parker. But the 28th, man, we've got a full jam-packed day on BCSN and HBCU League Pass. We'll promote it a little bit more as we get closer to that day. But everyone who has a contract with us is playing that day. So we've got to be spread far and wide with all sorts of games that are going on throughout those days.
It's going to be fun. All sorts of games, all sorts of computers, multiple encoders, all types of crazy shenanigans is going to be happening that day.
Boss man Roy even said we might have an in-studio show as well to go in between the games. So we'll see how it all plays out. 14 seconds to go. As a block ball by Madison Lee. Another block ball right there by Shamaria Gaines, but they called a foul afterwards. And the Miles student section does not like that call.
I got to admit, there's been a lot more contact during the game, so it was really interesting to see that one call. But the official, again, looks like she didn't want to call it. Again, they're doing things that are unintentionally hilarious. And mannerisms have been just a treat to watch.
Dilworth's free throw is off the mark. Rebound goes over Kentucky State. 5 seconds to go, and we've got a scramble, and we'll get one more shot off, and that's the final buzzer. Your final score, Lady Bears of Miles, 60. Kentucky State, 60-38 with the victory. Miles takes over sole possession of second place in the SIAC West. In just a few moments, we will hear from Coach Peach Asman to talk about tonight's victory. And yeah, we're still going to get him. I'm sending Nick over there to go grab her right now. All right, so we are patiently waiting on Coach P. Asman. Victorious tonight, 60-38 with the final score once again. And don't forget, everyone, on Wednesday, we'll be right back here in Knox Windham Gymnasium for another home matchup for the Miles Lady Golden Bears as they take on Central State. Tip-off is set for 6:30 Eastern Time, 5:30 Central. You can watch it live right here on HBCU League Pass Plus and on BCSN. All right, here you go. Actually, Coach, no, take this one so you can hear me.
You gotta look a certain way.
We'll just kind of just be right here. All right, everyone, we got Coach Peter Asman victorious tonight after the 60-38 victory. Coach, your team really from the mid part of the first quarter throughout the rest of the game was just in total control of this contest. What do you think about their performance from your young ladies tonight?
Trying to get them to understand their approach for the game. I really thought the last couple games we've been really approaching the game the right way. Handling our business defensively first and then letting that get our offense in the rhythm.
Another thing, too, it's been a long time since we've seen the young ladies play right here in Knox Windham Gymnasium. Not going to talk about home cooking, but you had to be feeling good to actually get the big victory in front of a pretty large crowd tonight.
Yeah, the girls were really excited to finally get back home. We was on 4-game road stretch, so they was really excited to get back home, to show the fans how we done improved, and just be ready to play in front of home crowd.
Defensively, Kentucky State was coming in as one of the higher scoring teams in the SIAC. You held them to 38 points tonight. What did you think about the Lady Golden Bears defense this evening?
The ladies really were disciplined, listened to the game plan that we put in place, and they really just went out and executed and played extremely hard. I mean, I'm proud of the job the young ladies did tonight.
On Wednesday, you'll welcome Central State into the Knox Windham Gymnasium. What are you looking forward to when you take on the Marauders on Wednesday?
They're an extremely good team. They're doing some good things on the end. They improved from last year. I'm just looking to get with my coaching staff, put a game plan together, and hope the girls come out with the same type of energy, the same defense, and see if we get another win.
All right, and Coach, I don't want to put you on the spot, but we know today is Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s holiday, and clearly he has made an impact across the world. No matter what the color of your skin is, he's made impacts with HBCUs like Miles College. For an individual like yourself, what did Dr. King's impact mean to you?
Dr. King impact is what this is right now. Having the opportunity for our kids to go to college when they didn't have the opportunity. Miles College was one of the places that he used to come and have sermons and, did a lot of speaking engagements here. So on this day, we want to just pretty much celebrate him. And the girls came out and did a good job, and hopefully he're proud of what we're doing.
Awesome, awesome. All right, everyone, once again, that's Coach Peter Asman. His young ladies were victorious 60-38 this evening. We'll see them back in action on Wednesday when they take on Central State. Congratulations, Coach, as always. We'll see you on Wednesday. That'll wrap up our women's coverage, but stay tuned right here on BCSN and HBCU League Pass Plus. We've got the men coming up in about 15 minutes. You do not want to miss this important matchup in the SIAC West. We'll see you soon, everyone. That's perfect, Coach. All right, no problem, man. We'll be back Wednesday.